Alright, I want to talk about today about what I consider maybe the most improbable, strangest, weirdest batting streak in the history of Major League Baseball. And I think even like 100 years from now, people look back and say, that was one extremely strange streak. And I've looked at the thing. Okay, for streaks that have hit over 30 plus games, I'm talking, of course, of Dan Uggla's 31 plus hit game streak. And there are some like numbers that are just mind-boggling about. It's like, that's not supposed to happen. For instance, after his 31st game where he went, I think, 3 for 5, his batting average went up to a huge 224. Now, if you look at all the 30-game hit streaks from 1876 all the way to present day, the lowest season average for any of those hit streaks was by Willie Tavares, who had a 278 average. Almost everyone that's had a 30-game hit streak at the end of the season has, hit 300 plus, and here this guy is hitting 224 and he's got 40 games left. So most likely he's going to break the record for lowest batting average in the season for anyone with a 30 plus game hit streak. And so that's number one. And obviously his 224 average at the end of a 31 games hit streak is the lowest for any 30 game hit streak. And also at the beginning, he had a 173 average. After there's another interesting thing. Half the season's already done, and he has a 173 average. What some people don't realize is, if you look at the box score for his very first game for the hit streak, the manager actually put him down for the first time to number 7. Maybe not the first time, but he got put down to 7. And the writing was on the wall like, hey, you don't start shaping up. You're going to be, pretty soon you're not going to even be hitting. Because for a long time it was like number 2 or number 4, but now there's like, okay, we can't, we have to put you in the bottom of the lineup because you're stinking up so bad. So he began this whole thing at number 7. At the end now, 31, now after the 31 game hit streak, he's now number 4. So obviously this 31 game hit streak has had a huge impact on where he's placed in the batting lineup. Okay, other things. During this hit streak, I don't know how often this has happened, but he's actually, in order to continue the streak, after 12 games, he got injured. He had a calf strain, and so he was out a game. And then in the second game, on the bottom of the 9th, they were tied, and he was like, okay, we're going to need a bat. And the manager risked his 12-game streak and actually had him pinch hit, and fortunately for Uggla, he hit a home run and continued the streak. So he actually continued the streak one of the times by pinch hitting. So I'm not too sure how often that's happened. And here's another interesting fact, was after game 14, his 15th game, what was a little bit controversial, was because originally the scorekeeper ruled his base hit in error. So if you look at the headlines of the after game 15, you'll see Dan Uggla's streak has been stopped at 14 games. So by virtue of like a last second scorekeeper, the very next day the scorekeeper looked at it and said, okay, it's a hit. So he benefited from an error being changed to a hit. So he's had that on his side too. And basically you just add up all these things and it's like, okay, oh yeah, also he had 12 home runs for the first 80 games of the season. And in the 31 game hit streak, he's equaled the amount of home runs he had for the first 80-some games. And so yeah, he's definitely on fire, but this is definitely the most strangest 30-game hit streak, plus hit streak in the history of the majors by far. no way anyone, I'd say the odds of a 173 hitter halfway through the season getting a 31 game hit streak is about the same odds as someone like hitting the lottery. It's just, that is just not going to happen too often. And one final thought is, he's a career 258 hitter, and he's hitting 224. One thing that makes me think this streak might actually go a while is because in the back of his head, he's probably thinking, you know what? Yeah, I've got a 31 game hit streak, but overall, season-wise, it's been a bad season. I think his lowest season average was a 243. So he's still 19 points lower than his lowest season average. And if you look at the thing, he's like third lowest, even after a 31 game hit streak, even after raising his average 51 points, he is still third lowest batting average for people who are qualified who have the 3.1 per game, 3.1 at-bats per game thing. So that's just my little thing. Just some interesting little tidbits about this guy. Maybe I over-researched it. Who knows? All right. You guys have a nice day. And that's it. Well, I get it.